All right, what we're going to do today is some maintenance on a kayak trailer. So last year I replaced all the hardware, all the nuts and bolts, U-bolts and everything on this trailer. Put new tires on, and when I did, I replaced the wheel bearings on the driver's side. So I'm getting ready to go on a 900-mile trip to the Florida Keys, and this passenger side bearing seems a little bit coarse compared to the other side that I replaced last year. So we'll pull it apart and see what we got. All right, first thing we'll do is we'll take the buddy bearing retainer off, and we'll just tap it as we rotate a little bit. Come right off. So you can see the grease doesn't look too bad, but I can see some brown in there, so there might be some rust up in the bearings. All right, the first thing we'll do is take our cotter key out. We'll reuse this if we get it out nice and straight. All right, cotter keys out. Take our castle nut off. It's gonna fight me the whole way. You can hear it once you loosen it up. I don't know if y'all can see, you can really hear the mess in there now. Come on. Once we get this all off, we'll totally clean it. So I'll pull it out a little bit, and you can see it's starting to hang. Sometimes you gotta persuade them a little. Yeah, we can see. So you can see this bearing. Look at the rust in there. So you can see there's some rust on the bearing surfaces. Not bad, but it'll definitely go out eventually. See the rust coming up in the rag, so that lets you know. So we'll inspect our shaft here. It looks nice. And if you look up in there into the race, you can see all the rust building up. So definitely it's time to redo these. The race doesn't look bad, but you can see pitting and rust. It should be a mirror smooth polished surface. All right, now we'll take this hub and we'll pop the seal out. Take a look at look at the inner bearing. That's a rusted out bearing there. Yeah, you can see it was shot. You can see it was definitely shot. This would have let me down on the side of the road eventually. Okay, the next thing we'll do, we'll take a chisel and punch set and drive them old races out. So you can see the bearing surface of that inner race, it was shot. What I'll do is I'll take these and I'll cut them, one thin cut with a cut-off wheel, and I'll use those to drive the new bearings back in without damaging the face of it. So inner bearings out. All right. That easy. We'll take and totally degrease the hub and clean it real good. So you can see these bearings are shot, definitely bad. All right, we got some brand new replacement kits from Napa. We got bearings, seals, dust cap, carter pins, everything. $22.43 a set. So for about 50 bucks with grease, you can redo your trailer both sides. All right, one of the first things we'll do is we're gonna take some 320 emery cloth and try to clean the shaft up a little bit. You can see there's a little bit of rust residue on the shaft. Lightly clean the gunk off the spot where the seal rides. Then I'm going to buff it with a piece of Scotch-Brite. Trying to make sure we get a good clean surface where the seal rides. And once I get that buffed a little bit, I'll take and clean it all with a lint-free rag with gasoline. Clean these threads out, make sure we don't have any old rust or contaminants in them. Alright, the next thing we'll do is we'll clean inside the hub real good with gas. Get all this clean as can be. All of our old grease, rust, and contaminants out. Both sides. Then I'll take the same Scotch-Brite and I'll polish inside the hub a little bit where the seal surface is. That way we can make sure we get a good seal. Alright, the next thing we'll do is we'll drive our new races in. So I like to start them with a block of wood. You don't want to beat on the face of the race if you can avoid it. So got it driven down flush. And this is where I took the old race and I cut a little slice in it. And I can set it right on top and I can use it to tap this race down in there. Take the socket a little bit smaller, so it's on, and that pops right back out. See how good that works? Custom made tool. We'll do the exact same thing. We'll get it lined up as square and as even as we can get it. Use a block of wood to start it. Once it's down flush, take your old race. This way you don't take the chance of damaging the face of the new race with a chisel point. And you can see once she gets close, like I said, you can tell when they hit home the tone changes. So right there's both of our brand new races driven home nice and flush without any damage to the face of them. Take your old race, cut a slit in it, make your own tool. So here's our brand new bearing. We got to pack grease all in it. So the best way to pack a wheel bearing is get some grease in your hand. Hold it like this and force grease into the cage till it comes out through the bearing top. See how I'm trying to force grease into the cage all the way around. Rotate it, force your grease. Go to the other side and get it inside that cage. So just keep packing it till it comes out the top. So this right here is my seal side, so I want to get the bearing packed as much as I can, and I want to drop it in there without getting any grease on the hub, which I got grease all over the place. I'll take my little gasoline rag and clean off the seal surface. What I like to do with the seal is I like to pack grease inside the back of the spring. So you pack it in back of the spring there, a little bit of grease. And then a little bit on the actual face of the seal in here, where it rides on the housing. And we'll do the same thing we did with the bearings. We want to get a good flush start on this seal. So I'll just tap it. And then I'll use the block of wood to get it to go in flush and straight. Beautiful. And then I like to put a little extra grease inside this area. All right, so I'll put some grease inside the hub. Down onto the race. Spread it around a little bit. And I'll pack my new outer bearing just like we did the inner bearing. A bit of grease in my hand. And just keep forcing it down through the cage to the rollers. So once that bearing's all totally packed with grease, we'll just drop it in to the outside hub. Got our brand new hub assembly all ready to go. We'll just slide her on. Real gentle. All our new bearings on, and we wash this real good in gasoline. We'll put our castle nut on. Torque her down. Once we got our castle nut on, we'll tighten it down. When the hub gets tight, we'll back it off to the next available hole. Very smooth, very good drive. So now she's very smooth. I'll install my new cotter pin. Line the hole up. Make sure my cotter pin clears my dust cap. You can see that it does. I'll put a little bit of grease in here just for some extra. Now I'll just tap my dust cover on real nice and even all the way around. I'll do the same thing here. I'll give it one little wrap with a block of wood to make sure it's nice and flush. Maybe 2 wraps. All right, tires on. Smooth as butter. So we spun it the other day. My son said he could hear it growl. I like that term. No growling here. Smooth as silk. Ready for a 2,000-mile journey. Well, it's that simple. Ready for a road trip. Till the next video. Before you go fishing, check your trailer maintenance, check your bearings.